Okay, changing the lower ball joints on your car is not very hard. I'm going to be doing it today on my Audi TT Mark II, but if you've got a different car, the general premise will be exactly the same for most cars, unless you've got a weird car, in which case, stop being so weird. Now, the first thing we need to do is jack up the car, but I'm going to go over the tools that we need today. So obviously you're going to need a jack. I'm going to be using two because I'm going to use one to jack up the car, and then going to use another jack to support the car as just like a safety to make sure there's no chance the car can fall if this first jack fails. You can do the same thing with an axle stand or some bricks, but a second jack is just easier to use. You're going to need some sockets. On this job, on this car today, all we're going to need is the 16mm and maybe the 18mm, but it might vary on your car. On my car today, I'm going to need an 18mm spanner. Again, you might need a spanner of a different size. You're going to need a breaker bar to get your wheel off, and a one of these that I can't name. Now, to get the actual ball joint off, there are two methods that I know. This is a ball joint splitter. Now, be warned, using one of these is supposedly pretty easy. It's what most people recommend. You will destroy the ball joint. That's okay today because I'm going to be replacing it, but if for some reason you're taking a ball joint out and need to put it back in afterwards, then don't use one of these because you'll more than likely just destroy it and need to replace it anyway. The second method is using a hammer and a long steel rod. This is just the connector from a drop link, and what you'll do is you'll position the ball joint thread at the bottom of the piece of metal and then hit like that with the hammer. I'm going to show you how to do both methods today. I'll show you how to do this one very briefly, and if it comes out immediately, perfect. If not, I'll use this. I've done the other side of this car already, and I used this method, so trust me, it does work. You just have to be pretty persistent and hit it pretty hard, and sometimes move around where you're hitting, but I promise it will come out eventually. Now, let's get started by jacking the car up. Okay, so to jack up my car, I'm going to be using two jacks, one to support, one to actually jack it up. I'm going to use this blue one to actually do the jacking up, just because it's a bit more of an expensive one. Although it is a bit older. So on my car, you need these like hockey puck shaped things to lift the car up with a jack. Basically this slots into the car and the jack presses on the bottom here. You don't need that on all cars, but I'm just letting you know some cars have a similar system. So all I'm gonna do is find the slot underneath, put it in, and there we go. Slide the jack under. So some cars will have jacking sills, which are quite nice. But I'm sure you can figure out how to jack up your car. If you can figure out how to jack up your car, then you'll be okay. It's not that hard. Then we'll just position it on the bricks properly. There we go, that's okay. Now all we're gonna do is jack the car. Make sure you've got your handbrake on for this, just to add a bit of safety of the car not rolling away from you. Now we're only gonna jack it up a little bit, like that much, because what we need to do is take off the wheel nuts. On my car, I'm using a size 17 socket with an extension on it onto the breaker bar, but like I said, it could be different for your car. Now, just get that lined up in there. I'm just gonna get this out of the way. Very simple. Put it on the nut, lift, there you go. Mine are on pretty tight. Yours probably won't be this hard to get off. I always do mine slightly too tight. Now we're not taking them off, we're just breaking them so that we can do them by hand later. Oh, there we go. That last one was quite tight. All we're doing is getting it high up enough off the floor so the wheel just comes off the floor. There we go, that's good enough. Now, we shall grab the same extension and socket from before, put it on my ratchet here, and just undo it all, just like that. It's a very lovely day outside today, but I'm in a little bit of a rush because at 3:30 I'm leaving my house to get to a tyre alignment appointment, because when you replace your ball joints, or basically your washbones, or your tie rod ends, or anything basically that holds the wheel on, you need to get your tyre realignment done, because when you put the bolts back in and the new parts on, they won't be in the same position that the original parts are on. Well, 90% of the time they won't be. So you need to make sure you get your wheel tracking done again. Otherwise, when those new parts go in and they're out of position, your wheels won't be pointed straight with each other. They'll be all like off, and then you'll get your tyre wear and it won't feel right when it drives. It'll just feel bad. So take your wheel off. Now the second jack, make sure that one's locked up. So grab it, bring it over, find a spot on your car. I'm going to be putting mine just on this bolt here, but any sturdy spot that's like mounted to the chassis or to the subframe is fine, and just use this as like a second layer of protection really against the car falling, because it's very unlikely that this first jack fails, but there's always a small chance that something slips, falls, the car rolls or something, and you don't really want to have your head or your hand underneath the car when that happens, because you might lose it, and it wouldn't be a good day. So just always be safe. It's like wearing a helmet when you ride a bike. So I'm going to now get into the car, and I'm going to turn the wheels fully right so that this rotates that way, and then we can easily, fully left so that the wheel rotates this way, and we can easily get in and access the ball joint. Just turn it fully left, just like that. All right, so I'm back with a light. So just to show you guys what we're looking at, down here is the nut on top of your ball joint. We're going to be getting that off. Now I believe this is a size 18. Let's just check that. Sorry for the flickering. The light runs at a different frequency than standard stuff, but you can see it now. So just gonna, yeah, that's a size 18. Now these can be incredibly stiff, so sometimes what you do is you want to get it in a good position like that, and then get L hammer and just try and hammer it round. I think it's slowly rotating. Sometimes these can be a bit of a pain. There we go, got it. Just had to pull hard enough, I believe, and now it's been broken free. Lovely. Oh. Now sometimes what will happen is the ball joint will rotate with the nut on top, because that's how ball joints are designed. In fact, I can show you on the new ball joint I've got. Sometimes, I think in all ball joints, because how they're designed, you have your nut obviously, but you also have the thread it's going onto, and if you can see in there, there's a little Allen key slot in there. Now what that's for is sometimes when putting on your nut, it will start spinning the shaft with the nut, and then you won't be tightening anything. So you need to put an Allen key in there, and then you can hold it still whilst you do up the nut. There's another trick, which I'll show you in a minute, which means that you don't have to do that, because sometimes, like this case, it's very hard to fit an Allen key in there, but I'll show you the trick if necessary. I'll show you when I put the new one on, because it will be necessary, but it might not be necessary when taking off the old one, because the old one might be so seized and rusted to the hub of the wheel that it's not necessary anyway. I can take that off by my fingers almost. And there we go. And there we go, it's popped off. There we go. So now here comes, oh, someone had also used thread lock on that. That's why it's a bit blue. At least I think that's why. So now here comes a decently hard part. Now, I'll show you the method that I used yesterday on the other side of the car that works. I took this metal rod here and just placed it on top of the thread of the ball joint as best I could. I just hammered like that. Now I think it might have just done it. Yeah, that's freed it off. There we go. Not all the way. So I've just shown you that does work, but just, I've never used one of these. You can always slot this in at the bottom of the ball joint, so it's hard to show on camera, and sort of just lever it down like that, and that will also work. Both are perfectly fine solutions. Now I'm just gonna have to push this down, and there you go. Now, the next step is, I'll show you on the new one, because I don't want to really show you upside down. On the bottom of my ball joints is this little plate that allows you to adjust your camber slightly by sliding backwards and forwards. There are 3 nuts. These are size 16 nuts. So all I'm going to do is grab a size 16 socket, shove it on my 1/4 inch ratchet, set it to undo, and then we'll just plonk it underneath and pull hard. And there we go. There's one. Find the second one. There we go. There it is. And here is the third one. There we go. They're quite tight. There we go. And there we go. Take that off. All 3 nuts are off. There's your ball joint. And will this lift out? There you go. That lifted out. Lovely. So lift that up. Pop it down. Get your new one. It's just the correct one. And this is for the other side of the car, the one I didn't use. This is the correct one. So I'm going to quickly grab your plate. Take off all the nuts, obviously. It's very simple, this job. Now, a little thing about the specific plates on the Audi TT. I'm pretty sure most cars, aren't like this. But the plate here, if you can see, there's little ovals, which allows the plate to move backwards and forwards, which allows you to adjust your camber. So if you have your ball joint with the plate fully away from the ball joint, you've got max camber. If you move it all the way close, you've got minimum camber. I want max camber, because it's better for going around corners. So we'll just plop that in there. All nice, all fits in lovely. Now, we'll just hold that there and then put on the first nut. There we go. Here comes the second one, and then the third one. If it comes with new nuts, use them. It's just better. They're less likely to be seized if you ever have to work on this part of the car again. So what I'm doing to make sure that I've got the max amount of camber I can, I am going to do these bolts up mostly, and then when the time comes, I will pull the plate all the way out and then tighten up fully. Okay, so now that all 3 bolts are tightened up fully, I'm just going to pull it out all of the way so that camber is as high as it could be. So you see how it's all the way in there now, and then I can just pull it out, and that will be max camber. So now very carefully tighten it up in that position, trying to hold it out as much as I can. I'll do the other one now. There we go. I'll just do the third one at the back. These aren't fully torqued up, but they are tight enough so that it can no longer move around. There we go. Just put my gloves back on. Okay, now I don't actually know the specific torque rating that these are supposed to be gone to. Every time I look it up online, it gives me something stupidly low, like 20 foot-pounds of torque or something. So I'm just going to do it tight. All right, so now those are all properly tight. Let's go back to the original. I'm sure there's somebody watching this going, no, you can't do that, but I am. Now all we have to do is get in this final actual ball joint to hub connector. So all I'm going to do is push it down, lift the hub back over, and then try and slot it in like this. And come on, you bastard. Come on. There we go. It popped up and through. Okay. So now I'm just going to get all that grit out of there. There we go. And now we can put the nut on. So what you need to do is get your jack. Now, technically I should have a third jack so that the car is still supported, but it'll be okay. Lower this jack away. Now, to stop the ball joint from spinning, there are two ways you can do it. You can use the Allen key, which I talked about before, or if you get a jack, position it under the ball joint right here, and then jack it up. You can force the ball joint into the hub, and it won't be able to spin on itself. So that's probably enough. So just grab your spanner and then start to just do it up. Now if it still spins with this, and no matter how much you jack up the car, it still spins, then you'll probably have to find a way to use the Allen key, but I haven't had to do that yet on either side of this car, and it seems to be working perfectly now. So there we go, I think it's almost done now. Oh. There we go, that's properly tight, so I'm just going to switch to the other end. Do a final bit of tightening. There we go, and that's pretty tight enough, there we go. Okay, so that's tight enough now, and you're basically done. All you need to do is go back into the car, rotate the wheels straight, put the wheel back on, lower the car down, do up the bolts all the way really tight with your breaker bar, and you're done. Thank you for watching. Hope it helped. Maintain your cars. I make all these videos so that people know how to maintain their cars. Sometimes people aren't as lucky as me and aren't maybe as intuitive. I have a dad that's taught me how to mend things as I've grown up, and sometimes you just need to know what you're doing because you're a bit nervous, and that's okay. It's okay to be a bit nervous because I understand cars cost a lot of money and they're heavy and they're scary, but you should always give it a go. Anyway, thank you for watching.